Applique is the process of attaching fabric pieces to a larger piece of fabric, and in this video I'm showing you how to attach a piece of felt into its background fabric using whip stitch. You can see in this felt owl, all the wings and eyes are attached to the main background using whip stitch. It's also the same with this Texas ornament as well. As you know, I make all kinds of felt items. Felt applique is an essential part of my work. Now let's see how to do that. First, place the felt piece you plan to attach on top of the background fabric piece. Hold it using your thumb and thread your needle and make a knot at the end. Start from the back of the fabric. Come up only through the background fabric and near the raw edge of the small felt piece like this. Go back down at the top piece by making a small stitch like this. You have made your first stitch. Now, leaving a small space, come through the back of the background fabric again and near the raw edge of the small felt piece. Go back down at the small felt piece like we did the last time by making a small stitch. This is how whip stitch work in felt applique, and you can continue the same steps till you reach the end. Try to keep equal spaces in between the stitches and you can just eyeball it. There is also a small trick that you can use to keep the equal spaces between the stitches. Just mark the space you wanted to keep between the stitches on your thumb. Then use that as your guide when you move from one stitch to the other like this. If you are a beginner to this, I think this method will help you to practice whip stitch comfortably. And now I want to tell you a secret. As I told you several times, I taught myself all these stitches and sometimes I change things according to my way. My problem with this way is that sometimes the raw edge of the small felt piece rolls inwards when you direct the stitch from edge to the middle. What I do is I change the direction of the whip stitch. I start from the middle and end the stitch at the edge. By this way, the raw edge of the small felt piece stays nice and flat. At least that is how I feel. This is a tiny thing to notice. Maybe I'm a little too concerned about things. I just want to show you the right way first and then the way I do it. After all, sharing what we learn through experience is all that matters. Now let's move to the official way to do the whip stitch applique again. I don't want to confuse you. When you reach the last beat, considering the spaces and all, take a guess how many more stitches you can make before it ends. In this case, it's about 2. Now make your final stitches according to that. At this point, we are done with felt applique and you can end the stitch at the back. Turn the back of the fabric and make a couple of knots using the stitches close by. Move your needle underneath one of these stitches, pull your needle towards you, and then go through the loop to make a knot like this. I'll make one more knot using another stitch at the back. Finally, trim your thread. This is how whip stitch in felt applique looks like. In this case, I have used 6 embroidery strands and a contrasting thread color to stand out. But if you want to blend in, choose a matching thread color to go with the felt piece you want to attach. You can also reduce the number of thread counts to 2 or 3 and make shorter stitch lengths as well. I usually go with 2 threads. Keeping equal spaces between the stitches also gonna help you to blend in. In some cases, you may want to give your item a more messy and handmade look. In that case, you can add a little bit of character by changing stitch lengths like I did in this one. I made one stitch shorter and the next one longer and repeated. You can also make your stitches a little bit angled as well. I would like to do this when I'm making Halloween ornaments. I don't want you to think you can only use circles in felt applique. I have used circles just to make things easier. You can use any shape as I showed you earlier, wings in owl and the Texas shaped ornament. If you're planning to make felt item, this is a must-learn technique and this is what I know so far. If you have more tips and tricks, please feel free to share in the comments down below and don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you for watching and I'll join you in the next one.